Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is called Karen's Diaries, and this video is going to be a little bit more different from my makeup tutorials and whatnot, and I did put it in my description that I will be having different types of content like depression, my life, etc., makeup, all that good stuff. So it's not just makeup, it's a little bit of everything. So the reason why I'm calling it Karen's Diaries is because everybody always seems to be judgmental and not know people. And I want you guys to get to know me before I continue doing lots of video content, whether it's makeup or reviews or whatnot. And I want you guys to get to know me a little bit more in depth. Because you see, like when people put things out there, right? Reality, like the reality TV, is that really reality? No, you know, and we all know that sometimes they make things or whatnot, or they're scripted. And to be honest, I want to make this video because I want to help someone out there that has gone through the same thing or is going through some similar situations. And I know that everyone has a story, but I have a story. And for many years, I've suffered from depression. I was diagnosed with depression, PTSD, Manic Depression, I guess, and mood disorder. So I've never spoken about this till now. And the reason why I'm doing it on video is because this is going to be my therapy, and I'm going to be able to talk to everyone because I want everybody to know what I've gone through and what many other people are probably going through. And they said that there's a lot of help out there, etc. There is help, but the first thing these doctors nowadays want is your insurance. And then when you go there to talk to them, they're like, oh, you know, time is up. So when are you going to put a plan into perspective? So just stuff like that. But this is my diary. This is my story. And I want all of you to know my story. So stay tuned and welcome to Karen's Diaries. Okay, so we're back. So where do I start? So let me take a sip of water because this is gonna be a 7-chapter diary, story, whatever you guys want to call it. But I want you guys to get to know me more. So when people start knowing me or whatever, you'll be like, no, that's her, this is her, no, I want you to hear from me. Alright, so on my YouTube channel and Facebook, my name is Karen Wind, and I utilize Karen Wind over Karen Wind. But I was born Karen Rivera, and I was born to 2 Puerto Rican parents. They were born and raised in Puerto Rico, and then they migrated over here in the late 70s. My mom came to New York in 1979 because I was born in 80. So yeah, I was born to Puerto Rican parents, and in 1980 I was born. And but let me go back. So my mom was born in Puerto Rico. She finished high school over there and came over here in 1979, pregnant with me. And then this lady here that you see was born in 1980 to those 2 people. My story begins in her belly. My mom, when she was pregnant, I'm premature. I was born premature. She said 6.5 months, 7, and I was 5 pounds. And the night that she was went into labor, she was actually dead because she had a eclampsia attack. That's when your blood pressure goes high and you have a stroke. So with that being said, they had taken her to the hospital, And they said it was a big snowstorm that year. And when my uncle had to carry her out, because when they went to the room, they were like, she hasn't eaten, and she was all twisted, and they said that she had like, her face was twisted, she looked like a monster. So thank God they took her to the hospital. When she got to the hospital, they said, they went to my grandmother, and they asked my grandmother, may she rest in peace. They asked my grandmother, well, you have the baby and your daughter. Your daughter has lived and the baby hasn't. Which one do you want me to save? My grandmother had told me, she said, well, I want both of them alive, but if you had to save one, I'd choose my daughter because the baby doesn't know life. But they saved me. That's why I'm here. And, just so you know also, I don't want you to think that I'm looking for pity party. I'm doing a pity party or I want pity from anyone. No, not at all. It's just my story. Anyway, so they took me out with the clamps. So at that time, when they were taking me with the forceps out, they messed up my cornea inside, which I only see like 5% out of my left eye. So if I close my right, I could only see a shadow. I have to be real close to you so I could see your face. Yeah, so that was when I was born. Now, fast forwarding to my family, they're all Puerto Rican. They all come from Puerto Rico. And my grandparents came here in the 70s as well. So when I was born in Brooklyn, New York, by the way, in Kings County Hospital. And after that, fast forwarding, my years as a child, from what I remember, it was okay. And I was 2 years old and I cut this right here. I was swinging, rocking in my baby chair and stuff. I remember those little things. I remember other stuff too. So going to when I was 5 years old, I used to live in Bushwick, and I went to a school in Bushwick. I forgot. Yes, I forgot the school. But anyway, went there for the first grade, and then I got sick. I had a heart murmur in my heart. I don't know, something like that. But it went away because I haven't had any problems. Then I remember my first grade teacher, Mrs. Farr. She was amazing. Amazing. I remember growing up, being bullied in school. Everybody probably has gotten bullied one time or another. But I had real long hair, and there was this little boy in the first grade named James. I remember James. And he used to pick on me all the time. And I remember my mom, at that time she was pregnant. She was like 7, 8 months around there. So one day I just kept coming home and I said, Mom, this boy just keeps, pulling my hair. And, she was like, did you tell the teacher? I was like, yeah. So Miss Farr used to try to, separate us and whatnot. I don't know what was wrong with him. So one day I came home with gum in my hair. So my mom was not having that. So my mom went to the school, and I remember it clearly. She said, hi James, why are you guys fighting? You guys are supposed to be friends, not fighting. So I remember James looked at me, he was like, then the mother came with the sister friend, whatever she was, I remember. And she told her son, well, next time you just crack her over the head with a bottle. And I'm like, ugh. So my mom said, oh yeah. So my mom, I remember she grabbed me by my hand and was dragging me into the school. And when she went in, she went to talk to the teacher. And in the hallway, they jumped my mom, but my mom fought back. And then the mother had grabbed my hair, and that's why my mom started fighting back. So my mom lost that baby. Because she had me and my brother already. And that was her third, but she lost it, unfortunately. And that's what happened. That was like the first grade for second and third grade, I was in Puerto Rico. And I remember the night, it was first grade, sorry, second grade. And I remember when I went to, the night we were leaving to Puerto Rico, that was when my life started to change. Excuse me. Sorry, excuse me. So, the night that we left to Puerto Rico, I remember crying so hard for my grandma. And I said I didn't want to leave my grandma. And then I said bye to my grandma, and I said bye to my aunt who passed away. May she rest in peace. And I remember leaving, and I had this I'll tell you later why I cry. I had this jean jacket and jean skirt. My hair was really done and nice. Had I known that my life was going to take a turn and we don't know as children, I would have told them, I want to stay with grandma. Probably fought more, but you can't do that at that age. You're a child. But rewinding that. Okay, so I went to Puerto Rico. But before that, hold on, I was around 5 or 6 as well. And these are things that bother me the most, that I sometimes can't understand and I cannot let go. First of all, I'm not going to put any names out there. I'm not. So I'm just gonna refer them as a family member or whatnot. So there was a family member that, every family's dysfunctional. But growing up, I grew up in a family who's very passionate. We're Puerto Ricans and whatnot. And they tend to fight, And growing up in a Puerto Rican household, there was like 13 of us, 13 siblings, aunts and uncles, and all living in one little apartment, and all the cousins and stuff. That's how we grew up. It was like a whole bunch of us, like 20, 25 in one apartment. Crammed up. But I remember one night, my mom and one of, a family member having a fight. And that family member walked by me, and the razor blade was open in their pocket. But why walk by me, knowing? And they cut me in my arm, which I have a gash from here to here to this day. I remember that. My mom fought so hard. And then, speeding up, that females do not ever leave your daughters. That's one thing, your daughters or your sons, because they all could get molested. During my young years, once or twice, I was violated by a family member. And that to this day, I will never forgive or forget. I wasn't the only one. Fast forwarding, we moved to Puerto Rico. And I went to Puerto Rico and I went to the schools, which I remember the food and just the atmosphere. We had a beautiful house, which I just went back this past March. And for the first time in a long time, I went back to where I used to live, where it all began. So my mom had a beautiful home with my dad. We had 2 beautiful cars. I remember I had everything that a child could imagine. I had these little camping tents on the bed, stuff like that. I had my room. Everything was like new, I I can't say that my parents had us living back. It was really nice. I went to school. I used to get called the little gringo, which is like the little American girl, you know, because I didn't speak Spanish at that time. And if I spoke it, it was like broken, but now I speak it perfect, you know, at least to my knowledge. I read it, write it, I speak it. Anyway, so I went to school there. Lunches were amazing. Breakfast was lunch. Lunch was dinner. Rice and beans, chicken, pork chops, all that stuff that, you know, you grow up with. I remember every day after school, my mom would take me next door to this little place that they sold like little chicks and little ducks, and every day they were 10 cents, and every day I would get one, you know? My mom would get me one. Then there was this little house, old school house, that my mom used to get me these big burgers, but they were amazing, and they were made with, instead of lettuce, they would put cabbage. Oh my god, amazing. You must make one, but they were like humongous. Alright, so there you go, and that was our life, you know. My father's side of the family, you know, we're also living over there. But how did I know that things would go south? So after a while, I saw my parents always fighting. Started fighting a lot. I mean, they've always fought, but it got ugly in Puerto Rico. Especially that my mom had no family and stuff over there, you know, like immediate, like her mom and dad. And things took a turn. This is the first time I talk about it. Things took a turn for the worse. My mom and dad started fighting, and I was always beyond my years. By this time, I'm like 9 years old, almost 10. And things took for the worse. My mom and my dad started fighting. There was cheating involved on both parts. Both. And I know she's gonna see me and probably kill me, argue with me, and probably gonna try to hit me, but it's okay, it's my story. And I know what happened, so it's not dumb. But, you know, allegedly, no, it was from both parts. And then, you know, after a while, then my dad started staying out and stuff like that, and he would come home and they would fight. And I don't mean argue, I mean like blow for blow. And there was blood everywhere all the time. The last time, so then my uncle moved from New York City with his wife, kids, you know, to Puerto Rico. Did we go through hell? We did. We did go through hell. I have a lot of pain in my heart. Then I saw my aunt always getting hit. My mom and my dad fighting. And then one night, just to fast forward it a little bit, one night, that was the last night, because I'm just gonna fast forward. There's always been, like I said, cheating, fighting, you know, stuff like that. But I remember one night, my dad never came home. And then he decided to come home the next day. That's where my life took even more of a worse turn. He never came home that night. And then he came in the next morning. And that was the last time him and my mom was ever together. They started fighting. My mom broke all the windows to the car. Hit my dad. My dad hit her. The fight started in the middle of the street, right by the corner store in the house. Walked in to the house. There was this big fight. It was like World War IV. And we haven't even had World War III, okay? And I hope we never do. Anyway, it's a joke. But yeah, and they started fighting, and I remember my mom grabbed the glass, one of those champagne glasses, and broke it. Cut my dad in the back, and I was there. Her sofas were gold with lacquer on the sides, and there was blood all over. He was choking my mom. And then my dad had long hair, so I was trying to pull him, like, Daddy, no, don't hit my mom, but he's like, Princess. He used to call me Princess. Then we went in the room, his bedroom, and he was crying and he was shaking. Then my mom was banging on the door. She had a hammer, and he's like, he called her by her name. Okay, the baby's crying, da da da. I always had to have my brother on my side, but my brother was in the other room. He always just stayed in the back, very calm. I was always the one always crying and screaming. Then everything calmed down, and he says, "Oh, I gotta bring the car in because my mama had broken all the windows." And he said, "Started raining." I remember it started raining, and I looked at him, and he says, "I'll be back." And I said, and I'll never forget. I need to get this out. And then my dad said, "Princess, I'll never leave you." I said, "Daddy, don't leave me." And he says, "I won't." And then he left. He got in the car, and my mom was like, "Where are you going?" And he left, and he never came back. Our life took a bad turn after that. After that, I remember a few days later, my mom went to the bank. Because my dad we had money. My dad had money. And after that, oh gosh, my mom went to the bank. And I remember my mom was like, "Oh my God," like, he took all the money out to give it to his mistress, because then after that, like a year later too, I met his mistress. He brought it to New York, because my dad was raising young girls. He brought it to New York, and then went to Connecticut, and another family. They never had kids, but and whatnot. But anyway, he abandoned us. But I say it takes two to tango. I blame my dad, but I also blame my mom. So we had no money. Now everything started going down. My mom had to do what she had to do to feed us, but I will say, I never went to bed hungry. My mom used to climb the trees, and my uncle, when they used to get these things, I think it's jackfruit or something. Panapeng. They call it panapeng. Bread fruit, something like that. Anyway, I don't know how to say English. Panapeng. And they used to make that every day with avocado and bread. And then Hurricane Hugo came. And at that time my grandmother came, and I had some chickens though. And the little chicks that I would buy weekly or daily, they were 10 cents. I put them in the thing. My dad and my mom built me this big cage for them, a chicken coop. So my grandmother took my little last chickens and killed them. And made them into stew and stuff like that. My mom too. So by that time, I had no more. Then my mom had no money and stuff, and she had to do what she had to do. There were many nights that I cried because my mom would fight in the middle of the street. Not with females, with males. And it was so hard to see my mom fighting all the time, every Friday. And every time she would drink, she would get a little bit hostile, but she would, yeah. And I was always so scared for her life. It's my mom, and as a child, you cannot defend your parents, you know? You can't fight back or you cannot protect them. You're supposed to be your protector. So yeah, so anyway, so then after that, I remember one night, my mom came into the house. Well, I was crying because I didn't know where she was. I woke up and she was, you know, back in the day, it did not matter if you left the kids alone, but she was gone. And I think she was at a bar, store, whatever she was. But she locked me in with padlocks in the house, you know. And it was, you know, I was in the house safe, but just the padlocks in the outside and the gates. And I'm screaming, Mom, Mom. So the guys that were playing the guitar, ding, 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 sitting down in the corner, they were like, oh, your mom's over there. So they went in, they got her and whatnot. At that time, she came in with some dude who she was talking to and whatnot. And I remember that night. And I said, stop, stop, you know. And she, and I glided. And then it was really late. And she says, oh, go to your uncle's house. And then I went to my uncle's house with my little brother. Up the hill, really dark. And I ended up there. My aunt opened the, you know, his wife opened the gate. And when I went in, she put me to sleep in the bed. And I said, I'm the only earrings. The only earrings that I had from my dad, my uncle was taking them off my ears. And then the next day, I thought I was like dreaming or something. I was like, I can't find my earrings. But I remember him touching me. He was like, because, you know, he was under the influence. And he was taking all my earrings, and then he was helping me find them the next morning. How jacked up is that? Also, during that time, a little bit before that, after my mom and my dad broke up, they burned my mother's house down. And we were living in a house that was burned down. But it was cement. So it was still safe, but you know, our bedroom didn't burn. What burned was like the dining room by the kitchen and the living room. My mom always said it was my dad. I don't know how true that is. Because I've asked him before, because my dad passed away, and I asked him, and he said never would I have done that. But I don't know, my mom used to fight with a lot of people, so I don't know. Who probably just didn't want her around. And then, after all of that, I would see her fighting and stuff like that. I had to cut my hair because then I caught lice, and I had like a little, almost bald, like really short hair. And then my mom receives a call. This was now going, I was like 10 years old. And my mom receives a call, well, my uncle receives a call that one of my aunts passed away. And I remember my mom falling in the bed, hitting her head and whatnot. And frankly, we didn't have money. My mom didn't have money to go to New York City, so my grandparents sent to get us. And then we came to New York City, back to New York, to Brooklyn. And my mother, we came back for the funeral and whatnot. And then my mother ended up going back to Puerto Rico without us. She said she was gonna go get the furniture and stuff. None of that came back. The person that she had watching it stole it all. And yeah, and I didn't see my mom for a couple of months after. Remember, my grandmother sent to get her the day before Christmas. My mom came, and when I woke up, my mom was right there. But before that, I went through hell too. Because me and my brother used to get picked on. We used to get hit by my uncles. Because we didn't have my mom and my dad there. You know, but I'm so grateful for my grandmother and my grandfather because they never, ever abandoned us. May God rest their soul. They were amazing individuals, and I'm so grateful to have had grandparents like them. So then my mom came back, and then, you know, started. So we lived with my grandmother after that for a long time. And then, fast forwarding, I was 10. We lived in Crescent in Brooklyn, East New York for a long time. Then we moved to, from Crescent, we moved to, I believe it was Shepherd Avenue in Brooklyn. Then from there, we moved to Grant by Aldrich Lane, in the cross between Brooklyn and Queens. And by that time I was like 12, going on 13. I had a lot of fun, a lot of friends. But lastly, to end this chapter, it's my chapter 1, when I was 12, my mom had a friend, and I remember he was cool all the time. He would give my mom money, he would give us money, he would get us whatever we wanted, you know. And then one day my mom was gonna go out on a date with him, and she goes, "I'll go open the door for so-and-so downstairs." I said, "Okay." So I saw him outside, called him by his name, and I said, "Hey," you know, for so-and-so. He's like, "Hey." He hugged me. He was a little, you know, drinking just a little. And I was like, oh, but it was a different type of hug. And all of a sudden, I'm walking up the stairs, and he grabs my boobies. A 12-year-old that didn't even have boobies, my flat chest. And I felt so uncomfortable. Then when I went up to the room, to my mom's bed, he went and he's like, oh, you know, and he came back and he was trying to still touch me, like creeping. And he went like this, and I was like this, you know? And then when my mom came in, he threw $20 at me. He was here for you, and I was like, I didn't touch it. So then my mom walks in, and he walked out. He says, I'll wait for you in the living room. And my grandparents were in their room. Then she goes, what's wrong? And I looked at her, and I'm gonna be honest, I was never the type to really be afraid to tell my mom anything, because I've always been like that, like forward to a certain extent. And I was, to be honest, I was afraid to tell her, because I don't know how she would have reacted, you know? I didn't know. So I told my mom that he touched me and then he grabbed me inappropriately, but that's not the words I used. And she looked at me, she said, and I said, Mom, just stay home. And she was like, no, I'll be back. When I came back, my mom's finger was all messed up, whatever. And she never saw me in. They're still fighting. Hit him, whatever the case may be. And we fought, and she came back with like little scratches and her finger, she hit him. And they were fighting. And I was around 12 years old. Yeah. A lot of pain. I do certain things. A lot of people don't know me. A lot of people say, oh, she has an attitude or whatever. No, I don't. I just have a character, and I'll tell you why eventually. Yeah, I've been through a lot, and everybody goes through a lot. But right now that I said this on camera, I kind of feel a little bit better. Because I've gone through a lot of therapists, and no one could get to the bottom of it, and I know exactly what's wrong. But what's the, you know, I need them to put something in perspective, and taking meds and stuff just doesn't cut it for me. But anyway, yeah, that was chapter 1 of Carol's Diaries, and yeah, stay tuned for the second chapter. This is the 7th chapter video content. And like I said, I want you guys to know more about me and my story. So those that do know me, now you guys could understand why I am the way I am, why I push people away, or why I kind of sometimes react. It's not that I want to, it's just, and I'm not trying to use or put any excuses, you know. But when things that has traumatized you since you were little and continuously happened, you kind of be like, what's going on? What am I doing wrong? Why am I punching back? You know, there was one time too, you know, Mom, I'm sorry. I hope she doesn't see this, but I was waking my mom up and she had a hangover. And she's gonna probably see this. She's like, nah, damn it. They forget. When you get older, they forget everything. And they think that we're saying a lie. But I asked her to get up, to give me some food. She says that, to this day, she says that I was messing around. But no, I wasn't. I remember it clearly. And I know she got up and she hit me. She kept hitting me with the belt. And hitting me. And there was a round table in her bedroom. Where she would just chill, sit down, you know. And she pushed me on that and started choking me. Which to this day she says sorry. She feels so bad. And I forgive her. It's my mom. But yeah, it's been a journey. So yeah, guys, I'm going to end this chapter here. And stay tuned for my next chapter of Karen Diaries. Thank you. And don't forget to subscribe. See you later.